On behalf of New Zealand, I want to express my deepest apologies to Grace's family. Your daughter should have been safe here, and she wasn't. I am truly sorry for that. Grace Emmy Rose Millane was born in Essex, England, in 1996. She was the youngest of 3 children, growing up with her parents, David and Gillian, and her 2 older brothers, Michael and Declan. Grace was full of life, sociable, and deeply connected to her family. She had a passion for creativity and the arts. She pursued higher education at the University of Lincoln, earning a degree in advertising and marketing. After graduation, she was eager to explore the world before stepping into the next phase of her life. She saved up for a year-long backpacking adventure and planned an exciting journey. Described as compassionate and kind, Grace made a selfless gesture before leaving. She cut her long hair and donated it to the Little Princess Trust to help create wigs for children battling cancer. In October 2018, she set off on her travels, starting in Peru before spending 6 weeks exploring South America. Along the way, she met fellow travelers and eagerly shared her experiences with loved ones back home. On November 19, 2018, 21-year-old Grace arrived in New Zealand alone. 11 days later, she reached Auckland and checked into Base Backpackers Hostel on Queen Street, where she shared a room with other travelers. On the evening of December 1, 2018, Grace left the hostel just before 6 p.m. Dressed in a black dress with white shoes and carrying a small handbag, she was heading out to meet someone she had matched with on Tinder. Initially, she had reservations about meeting, but after some conversation, she decided to go ahead with their plans for drinks. She met her date at Sky City, a popular entertainment complex in Auckland. She messaged her friend Amina back home, saying, "I click with him so well. He's an oil manager and lives in a hotel." The date appeared to be going well, and an hour later they visited another bar, the Bluestone Room. At one point during their evening, Grace momentarily left the table. While she was away, her date suspiciously picked up her handbag and searched through it. Despite this, they later left the bar together, walking arm in arm down the street. December 2, 2018, was Grace's 22nd birthday. Her family and friends flooded her with messages and birthday wishes, but strangely, she didn't respond. Her 2 phones went straight to voicemail. Her brother Declan, who had been receiving regular updates and photos from Grace throughout her trip, immediately sensed that something was wrong. Grace's parents reported her missing to Auckland police on December 5th. When officers contacted her hostel, they confirmed that she had not returned on the night of December 1st. At first, police did not suspect foul play. Most of her belongings were still at the hostel, leading them to believe she might have simply spent the night elsewhere. However, due to the vast amounts of CCTV footage around the city, investigators quickly traced Grace's last known movements and identified the man she had been with. He was Jesse Kempson, a 26-year-old residing at City Life Hotel in Auckland. Jesse Kempson was born in Wellington and had moved around frequently following his parents' separation. Raised partly by his grandparents, he had little connection with much of his family. People who knew Jesse described him as a compulsive liar, frequently fabricating stories about his life. He claimed to be a professional softball player, the cousin of a famous rugby star, and a top manager at Woolworths. None of it was true. He lied to employers, landlords, and romantic partners, eventually leading to job losses and evictions. At the time he met Grace, his rent at the hotel was being covered by government benefits, and he was unemployed after being dismissed from a sales job. Police brought Jesse in for questioning on December 5th. During his interview, he initially claimed that nothing unusual had happened that night. He said their date ended with a hug, a kiss on the cheek, and plans to meet again. However, further investigation revealed a much darker truth. CCTV footage from the City Life Hotel showed that Grace had entered the building with Jesse, but never left. The following morning, Jesse was seen buying cleaning supplies, renting a car, and later hiring a carpet cleaner. Hours later, he was on another Tinder date, where he spoke disturbingly about burying bodies. On December 7th, police found Grace's body buried in a shallow grave in the Waitakere Ranges. An autopsy confirmed she had been strangled with force for several minutes. It was also discovered that Jesse had taken intimate photos of Grace's body after she died and had searched online for terms like hottest fire and flesh-eating birds. Jesse Kempson was arrested and charged with murder on December 10, 2018. He pleaded not guilty, claiming that Grace's death was an accident during consensual rough sex. However, the evidence against him was overwhelming. After a 3-week trial in November 2019, the jury found Jesse guilty of murder. He was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 17 years before parole. In the following years, more of Jesse's crimes came to light. He was convicted of sexually assaulting and abusing 2 other women, receiving additional sentences of 11 years, which run concurrently with his life sentence. Grace's tragic story shook New Zealand and the world. Her family channeled their grief into positive action by supporting campaigns against violence towards women. They raised over £11,000 for the White Ribbon Campaign, which works to prevent male violence. They also launched the Love Grace campaign, collecting handbags filled with essential items to help women escaping abusive situations. In December 2020, Jesse's name suppression was lifted, revealing his identity to the public. Despite attempts to appeal his sentence, his convictions remain. Tragically, in November 2020, Grace's father, David Millane, passed away after battling cancer. Though he did not live to see full justice, his daughter's legacy continues through the efforts of her loved ones. Grace Millane's story is a painful reminder of the dangers women can face. However, her memory has inspired a global conversation about safety, justice, and the importance of standing against violence. Her family, friends, and supporters continue to honor her life by working towards a world where women can travel, explore, and live freely without fear.